So, if the looming AI revolution has you kind of freaking out about how you're raising your kids, let me save you some money, some time, and honestly, a whole lot of effort. Welcome to This Explainer. You really don't need those expensive flashcards, and you absolutely do not need to sign your 4-year-old up for a coding class. What actually needs to change to get them ready for the future is much smaller, it's completely analog, and the crazy part? It's probably already happening in your house every single day. Let's just dive right into this.
To really wrap our heads around this massive paradigm shift, we have to look at a recent interview where a reporter went straight to the executives running the major AI companies. They asked them point blank, what do you actually teach your own kids? And guess what? When looking ahead to the skills that will matter most by 2030, literally not a single one of these AI leaders said, learn to code. No way. Not one of them said, get good at AI tools.
Instead, they all kept coming back to the exact same handful of incredibly human traits. And there's a study that brilliantly shows us why. Researchers looked at over 2,000 different job skills, right? And they scored each one based on how easily today's AI could just take it over. The score they gave to empathy and listening, exactly 0. 0. AI simply cannot replace it. It wasn't math, it wasn't tech. The irreplaceable skill was deeply human connection.
The fascinating part here is just the sheer irony of it all. We all kind of assume that surviving the AI revolution means we need heavy tech preparation, coding, digital tools, all of that. But the irony is that thriving in this brand new era actually requires strictly non-digital behaviors. So today, we're going to walk through the 5 analog skills that actually matter: curiosity, resilience, judgment, empathy and listening, and focus. And spoiler alert, not a single one of these comes from a formal lesson. All right, let's start with skill 1, curiosity. Picture your 4-year-old in the backseat of the car asking, why does the moon follow us? Your immediate instinct is to give a fast, perfect answer. But just like that, the conversation is over. The crucial point is what happens right before you answer. You see, when kids under 5 are really absorbed in something, they ask roughly 70 to 90 questions an hour. 70 to 90. They ask these because there's this uncomfortable gap in their understanding between what they know and what they just saw. That discomfort is actually doing the heavy lifting. When you swoop in with a fast, clean, completely correct answer, you close that gap instantly. Sure, they get the facts, but they completely lose that process of intellectual reaching. So here's the swap you need to make. Step 1, when they ask a question, reply with just 4 words. What do you think? Step 2, stop talking. Step 3, count to 5. Let's actually model that waiting process right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It feels a lot longer than you'd expect, right? Look, whatever your kid says next will probably be completely wrong, but it is worth so much more than your correct answer because they built it themselves.
And that perfectly brings us to skill 2, resilience. Imagine it's 7:40 a.m. Your 2-year-old is at the door, fighting to put on a shoe, and man, the urge to just swoop in and fix it for her is overwhelming. But consider the data from this recent study. Researchers gave kids a really difficult puzzle. For one group, an adult waited just 10 seconds before saying, "Oh, this is tricky, why don't I just do it for you?" Later on, all the kids were handed a box that was secretly impossible to open. The kids who got that quick 10-second rescue earlier, they gave up in half the time compared to the kids who didn't get quick help. Just 10 seconds of help literally cuts their persistence in half. Because what they learned was, when things get hard, someone comes to rescue me. We feel so much pressure to make parenting look completely effortless. But look at this comparison. 15-month-old babies watched an adult struggle with the toy for 30 seconds before finally succeeding. Meanwhile, another group watched an adult do it effortlessly. When handed their own difficult toy, the babies who watched the adult struggle kept trying for far longer. It turns out, letting your kids see you struggle and exert effort actually builds their own persistence. So here is the swap for resilience. Next time your child is fighting that shoe, step 1, physically put your hands on your knees so you don't reach out. Step 2, count to 20, silently. You can observe out loud, say something like, I see you're looking for the hole, but do not give instructions. Step 3, at 20 seconds, ask, do you want help? And then wait for a yes. I'll give you an honest warning here. You're going to be late, and that shoe still might not get on today, but eventually, when she gets stuck, she'll start looking to the shoe first, not to you.
Okay, moving right along to skill 3, judgment. Let's say your 4-year-old confidently tells you that whales are fish. You aren't totally sure, but you instantly give an answer anyway, super quickly and confidently.
Judgment is actually the skill AI touches most directly.
Look at how a child's judgment machinery calibrates on this strict timeline. By age 2, if you point at a horse and call it a dog, they notice. Fast forward to age 3, they only trust a source that is 100% correct. Moving on to age 4, they start evaluating sources, choosing someone who is usually right over someone usually wrong. Now, think about AI for a second. AI is always instant and always confident, which is, let's be real, just like many parents. If you are always an instant, confident source who never admits to not knowing something, you're giving your child absolutely nothing to practice evaluating.
The swap for judgment comes down to just one incredibly powerful sentence. I'm not sure. Let's find out. You literally have to actively show them you can be wrong. If you mess up a fact, say it out loud. Oh, I told you whales were fish. I was actually wrong about that. Let's check. You want them to learn how to test and evaluate sources rather than just blindly trusting confident answers, whether that answer is coming from a computer or an adult.
Next up is skill 4, empathy and listening. Imagine your 3-year-old stalls out while telling a story about the playground and you immediately jump in to finish their sentence. Boom, story is over in 12 seconds. But check out this study comparing 36 families. Researchers scanned children's brains to see what actually developed their language areas, and guess what? What mattered wasn't the total word count the kids heard from adults. What actually predicted brain language development was the number of conversational back and forths. It's that tiny connection where the child speaks, you say something related, and they answer back. So, to build this unautomatable zero replacement skill, here's honestly the hardest swap yet: pure silence. Step 1, look at them and just wait. Step 2, count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Step 3, say the absolute smallest thing to keep the ball in their court, like, and then what? This is so absolutely critical because a screen will never, ever return the conversational ball. Dinner is definitely going to take longer, and yeah, the stories might go absolutely nowhere, but they will learn to find the ends of their own sentences.
Which brings us to our final skill, skill 5, focus. Picture an 18-month-old sitting on a floor completely covered in toys. He looks kind of bored, and you instantly hand him a brand new distraction.
Well, when researchers tested this exact dynamic, kids given only 4 toys played with each one twice as long as kids who had 16 or more toys out. And it wasn't just the duration of play, it was the creativity. With only 4 toys, they hammered with them, they hid them, they turned them into entirely new things. Get this, the average modern home in that study had close to 90 toys. To put that in perspective, the problem isn't understimulation, it is the exact opposite.
So here is your focus swap. Put most of the toys away, just leave 4 things out and rotate them. And crucially, please don't fill the gaps in the waiting room or the car ride with your phone. When they come to you complaining they're bored, let them complain for 5 minutes. It is genuinely unpleasant, I know, but remember this: boredom isn't a gap you are supposed to fill. Boredom is exactly where the next big idea comes from.
Okay, let's look at the ultimate AI-era parenting hack, restraint. Let's zoom out for a second. Look at the shared DNA of curiosity, resilience, judgment, listening, and focus. It's the exact same move every single time. You wait, and you step back instead of stepping in. You see, you aren't preparing them for the AI world. You are preparing them for themselves.
Now, I need to give you a harsh but ultimately comforting truth. None of this pays off today. You will not see results in a week, and that isn't a sign it's failing. That is literally what building a human mind looks like from the inside. Don't try to do all 5 today. Just pick one swap. Pick the one we talked about today that actually made you wince a little bit. I want to leave you with a lingering thought to spark some honest reflection. Ask yourself this: what do you always end up doing for your child that they could probably do themselves? Really think about it. The next time you feel that overwhelming urge to step in, take a breath, step back, and let them figure it out. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.